Hello, my sexy muffins, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we are doing a really old request, which is from Tumblr, which this was the request from Tumblr. I updated a bit so it flowed better, but it's just the gist of things. If it is alright and you are still taking requests, can we have a Yandere Cain SCP 073 X reader slash listener, because this is a listener version, where the listener slash reader was a researcher and broke off with Cain once he got too possessive. Literally tried to hide from Cain, but years later, Cain and her child grew up to be a high school intern for the Foundation. How would Cain react that he is a father? So it's basically his reaction to figuring out that he's a father. There's a scenario of that, but I also added headcanons of what he would be like in this situation. So let's do the headcanons first, but first, disclaimer. Disclaimer: SCP-073, aka Cain, is not Yandere canon. This is just for fun and not to be taken seriously at all. Simping for fictional characters and Yanderes is fine, just do not be illegal or gross about it. You know who you are. You dirty, flaky biscuits. Yanderes are not ideal partners to have in real life. Also, remember to separate fiction from reality and headcanon from canon. A thank you. Now let's do this. Cain was possessive of you. He was also very much a jealous yandere. And with that, he becomes even more possessive, an even more possessive yandere for you. You had been his researcher, and he fell for you hard. He ended up being in a relationship with you, and wanted to spend the rest of his life, his time with you that he could. He did not know how long that would be, but he is going to cherish every moment with you. When you left him, he was heartbroken, and he even tried to breach containment multiple times. After a decade, he gave up on ever seeing you again. But years later, he learns that you were still out there and that had been pregnant with his and yours child. He did not want he did not know what to think or to do since you had his baby, and she was now working as a Foundation intern at the SCP Foundation. How could it be? He becomes very protective of his daughter, even gets close to her to learn where you are. The whole time you had been still at the same site. You were so close, but just out of reach. He would try his best to manipulate and force the Foundation to have you see him again. That is right. Once again, he is a manipulative yandere, even though he looks and acts all sweet. He is the type of yandere who made work to everything work out to. Ooh, he is the type of yandere who makes everything work to get his hands on you. I don't know, that sentence a mess. When he sees you, he gets all the information if you on you and what you have been doing, and if you have been seeing anyone. If you had been seeing someone, his slightly darker side of jealousy and getting angry would come out. How could you cheat on him? He would also make sure that the person or people that you had been with in between being with him and now would be dealt with and unalived one way or another. He would tell you he still loves you and wants you to be in his life. If you accept his love once again, this time he will make sure he will not make the same mistakes, and that you will never ever get away. He will never ever let you go. If you turn down his love, he is still not going to let you go. He will manipulate the Foundation into making you his researcher again. But this time, you would be there with you and your daughter and his daughter. He is never ever letting his family go again. Ever. He would rather scorch the earth and salt it behind him. Otherwise, he would be a good father. The same with him being a good boyfriend slash partner. That then other than his possessive nature and his clingy and jealous sides of being Yandere and all that. That is right. Along with being a possessive and jealous Yandere, he is also a bit of a clingy Yandere. He would not want to leave your side and would do his best to make sure you never are able to leave him. He would be around you 24/7 if he can. He would even threaten your daughter. Though he is not a monster, he would do everything to love and protect his daughter and you. Think I read that wrong. I'm going to reread it just in case. He would never threaten your daughter, though he is not a monster. Though he is not a monster. There we go. He would do everything to love and protect his and your daughter as well, and you as well as keeping you and as his and his alone forever. Now on to the scenario. It's a lot of plot stuff, so don't get ready for a lot of dialogue. Cain had loved sorry, wrong sentence. Okay. Cain had lost the love of his life for 18 years ago. He hated it. Every day he remembered what it was like having your name in his life. Loving you and being with you, he should have done better to keep you by his side, to not let you go and not let anyone run off and not let you run off at all. He had been a fool. If he ever got the chance to have you back in his arms, he would take it. He would take it even as a sign from God that you and he were meant to be, and that he would be able to love and cherish you again. The chance came today, as an intern was carrying files. She is wearing specially made gloves. This girl was Cain's daughter. She had a few similar anomalies to him, but very different. But it's not all plant life, such as it's not all plant life that is in soil that passes away around her in a radius around her. That's the word, but anything her hands touch, and just her hands touch. So she wore special gloves made by the Foundation. Another thing was that she could not feel any pain. Unlike her father, if someone punched her, they would not get any of the damage of said punch, but she would not feel pain whatsoever. It was like all damage never happened eventually. When testing her blood samples just would not happen. They would get in the vein and draw the blood, but in seconds it would all be gone, and there would be no needle mark on her arms. Many tests were done, and it was concluded damage that happened to her she could not feel for one, and it would be gone in seconds, such as when she had to have when they decided to do experimental surgery by taking out her appendix and her appendix turned back again, or when they injected her with the flu. She had the symptoms for a few seconds and then they were gone. It is like she is immune to all things and it just super goes through about her super fast, or it ceases to exist, like send a reversing it from happening. Her name is Eve, and she is named after her grandmother and had your last name. Growing up in the Foundation was not easiest of things to do. Having a pregnancy in the Foundation was not the easiest thing to do. The Foundation could have thrown her into a containment cell the moment she was born and be done with it. You could have been thrown into a containment cell as well, since they found out about your relationship with Cain. Who knows what having an SCP's child would do to a woman's body. Either way, she was useful to the Foundation, and so were you. So they decided to teach your daughter and keep you around. They taught her how to be a future researcher. And since she would never be able to fully leave the Foundation, they will be able to. This way, she would be able to have some freedoms and and something similar to a life. She was still strictly monitored, and so were you. Or at least she was supposed to. You were working across the site on your stuff, and your daughter was on her first day of being an intern. She was supposed to be monitored right now, but she had gotten lost, and she ran into someone and looked up at them in shock as she had fallen down and looked up at them. Sorry, my tongue twister brain is not working. And they looked a bit similar to her. She had his eyes and his complexion, not to mention the same symbol on his forehead she had on her forehead. Other than that, she looked just like her mother, you, and with your same facial structure, eye color, and hair type. Excuse me, the man asks and shakes off his shock, but are you related to your name, last name? He asks Eve. He asks Eve. There we go. Yes, she is my mom, Eve said as she smiled and squinted a bit. Where did you get that mark? She asked. The one on your forehead. Cain was frozen for a second, not processing what she said. This must be his daughter. She looked enough like him and enough like your name. So that means your name was her mother, which means that your name had his child when she left him. This this was not good. I think you are my daughter, Cain says, stunned. Eve stares at him in shock and then asks, I'm what now? Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more, comment below what you would like to see and all that good stuff. I hope that you're all having a great end of spooky season. We're less than a week. We're almost a full week away until the end of spooky season. And then Christmas season rolls around. I still will continue the 18 other videos I have on the spooky season list, 8 to 20 videos. So I will get those done. Also, uh, check out my community page because I do have votes and stuff. If you want to do that, all that good stuff, and all that jazz. Anyways, I don't know what is next, but anyways, Patreon outro because our long time Patreon is back. Thank you, Gav, for being my first patron. You are wonderful, beautiful, stunning, gorgeous. I am glad you are back, and I appreciate that you are back as well. And I hope that you all enjoyed this. If you would like to see more, comment below what you would like to see, and I will do my best to do it. And stay sexy, all my sexy muffins. Bye bye. Secret outro time, secret outro time, secret outro time, secret outro, baseball bat. Welcome to the secret outro, and the secret outro question of the day is, would you, if you were Cain's child, not romantic at all, but if you were his child, how would you feel about him being your father? Personally, I don't know how I would feel. I would feel very uncomfortable in this situation and shocked 100%. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed and stay sexy on my sexy muffins. Bye bye.